Hey, Coach, so glad you found us. Couple things. First of all, subscribe. We love those people that subscribe. That's the first thing. Second thing is go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Let me help you win more games, less time, 30 plus years of coaching. Come join our community. It is unbelievable. There's nothing else like it. 14-day free trial. It's the only place you'll find that on the web. Let us help you become better basketball coaches. All right, let's head off to the video.
All right. Welcome to the Basketball Leadership Podcast. People that are watching this on YouTube, we were joking about my Cubs my Cubs shirt before we jump on. Coach is a Twins fan. That's okay.
Hey, they're in the playoffs.
Herbie Puckett, baby. That's my memory.
Legend.
Very good player. Didn't look like a baseball player too. That's the funny part.
That was the beauty of it.
I know. I mean, I know. All right, so today we're going to talk about the 3 steps to leadership. There's probably more than 3 steps, but we're going to talk about 3 steps to leadership. But before we do that, Coach, I want you to talk. We haven't talked a lot about your website and your OS and stuff for coaches. So before we jump into the 3 steps, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of free resources that I give away to coaches. I have a preseason playbook, a postseason playbook. I've got my team leader checklist, tons of resources for free. I've got the books. I've written 4 short books.
Before you go, Coach, they're free, but if people would like to donate, they can donate. So I'm just
saying, can always donate.
You can always donate. There is a donate place there. I'm just going to throw it out because it's really good stuff. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, that's good. And I have thousands of downloads of those free resources already, and the books as well. And then my big project, as you mentioned, was our Team Leader OS. Really, the drive of that is, I think we're talking about leadership right now, and it's so important for coaches to either, you can wait and wish for team leaders, or you can systemically try to develop them. And so I created this huge resource, ultimate resource, leadership resource for coaches. This is it's a video series. It's over 200 minutes of video for coaches and for players. There's over 300 pages of resources. I guarantee you're going to go on this and you're going to have more leadership resources that you'll ever need. And it's just loaded with info. And so all of that's on my Gumroad site. It's a little tricky to spell out right now, but it's my gberge, gberge.gumroad.com. That has pretty much all of the free documents, books, Team Leader OS that you could need. You can also find it on my Twitter. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I've got a lot of people have downloaded it already, and we're off and running.
I'm going to tell Coach, first of all, it's X now, not Twitter. But anyway,
I know.
We can call it Twitter. We'll call
Posts,
it Twitter.
Not tweets.
Tweets, whatever it is. Yep. So I'll put that down in the show notes too, but it's gberge with an E. So berge.gumroad.com. I'm trying to get Coach to get a better URL, but we'll work. We're slow. We're slow and change. We're gonna get him to fix it before this is over. All right. So let's go through the steps, Coach, that you were talking about before with leadership.
My big goal is to try to simplify the complex. We talked about earlier that leadership is influence. And so what's the progression of leadership? How can we simplify that for people? And I think 3 simple steps, and obviously we go a lot deeper, but step 1 is to lead by choice, or make the choice to lead. I think we forget this a lot as coaches. All too often we have kids that we want to be leaders. We have kids that we maybe put in a leadership role. And until anyone makes the choice to lead, you can't really go to the next step in the process. And so I think we need to talk about that with kids. And you lead by choice 2 ways. You got to have the right mindset. You have to have the right attitude. You need a positive attitude. You need a growth mindset to be a leader. I really believe that. And then you have to accept the responsibility of leadership. That's a biggie. Leadership, you get put on an island. You have to make tough decisions. You can't be everyone's friend all the time. And that's why that choice is so important. And then step 2, once you've made that choice.
Hold on, before we go to step 2, let's talk about 1. Yeah. So how does that process happen for an athlete? Like the choice. What do you mean by choice?
Well, I think we have to talk about leadership with kids to begin with. Okay, they have to know what leadership is. I don't think we talk through what leadership is very much. We say be a leader. Okay, what does that mean? We do that all too often. It's like rebound. Don't teach them how to box out, but we tell them to rebound. Like, we have to explain leadership, and then they have to be willing and ready to make that choice. Sometimes kids aren't ready to lead. It's developmental. I mean, I've had kids that were not great leaders in high school that are college basketball players that are phenomenal leaders, in their collegiate career. It's a process. It's an evolution. Some kids are ready for it earlier than others, but they have to make that choice. And it comes down to accepting the responsibility and having the right mindset to lead.
They need to know, and they need
skip that step a lot.
Yeah, and they need to know what, like, they might want to do it, but they might not be willing to make that step. Is that what you're saying? Like,
I mean, we see it a lot, and we've all done it. You've done it as a coach. I'm sure I have, where, you put someone in a leadership role, they're not ready to leave. They don't have the voice of the team. They don't want the responsibility. And then they end up waffling and not leading. And then we get mad at them, and they haven't been put in that position. So, they don't want to be in that position. We got to get through that step before we can kind of move on. I just think we forget that a lot as coaches.
Right. No, I agree. Okay. So that's step one. What's step two?
And then once you've made the choice, all leadership starts with yourself. It's inside out. So we can't lead other people until we lead ourselves. And so we have to lead by example. And how do you lead by example? Through your words and your actions. And what I say and what I do have to correlate, have to match. That process is all internal. It's all about us. Okay. And the third step then, and I'll just jump to that and you can dive into both, is now when we start leading other people, we're leading out loud. And that's when the shift goes away from focusing on us to being a servant leader and focusing on other people. And so it's this progression. We got to lead by choice. Then we got to lead ourselves by example. Now we can begin to lead out loud. Now, how do you lead out loud? Everything starts with relationships. So kids that want to take that next step to start leading out loud, they have to focus on developing relationships with teammates. They need to be able to hold other people accountable, and then they want to make other people better. They want to inspire. And I think that's kind of that last level. We can look at this as coaches. This is a progression we all make as leaders too. We have to lead by choice. We have to lead ourselves, and then we begin to lead others. How do we lead others? Build relationships, have accountability, and ultimately try to inspire. And so this is just a simplistic version of, I think, the progression we all go through to lead.
So give me an example of the second step for a kid. Like, what is that? What do you consider leading yourself? Like, what are examples of that in the basketball world or any world?
Lead by example. You got to do the right thing in school. You got to do the right thing in your sport. You got to make the right decisions outside of sport. Your actions, what you do, have to match your words. You can't be someone who talks a good game and then doesn't show the good game. They have to match. And I hear what you say. I trust what you do.
Right.
Ultimately, leading by example is about trust, and it's about doing the right thing consistently in your life. And when you start doing that consistently and you lead yourself, now we can begin to focus on leading other people.
Right. And I think we've all coached those kids that say, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do, and they don't do it. Like, it's like, okay, well, you've kind of shown by not leading, by, leading yourself first, by maybe not getting up for an early morning session, or maybe not being early, whatever it is. There's multiple things. Which of the three is the hardest? I think one of the three is the hardest for a leader, especially for a high schoolish, junior high kid. Which of those three?
I mean, the hardest is to hold your teammates accountable, because they're buddies and peers and friends. But it's all on a continuum, and it's all a progression. So you can't begin to hold your teammates accountable until you've led yourself first, until you've made the choice to lead, right? Once you get to that step, leading out loud, we're going to talk about EGBs here coming up in one of these sessions, and developing relationships and leading out loud that way is a real easy thing for kids to do, but holding your teammates accountable is a very difficult thing for kids to do, especially at the high school level.
Oh, I think it's that's what I was getting at, is I just think from a developmental, from a peer pressure-ish wanting to fit in, I just think that's, again, in my 35 years I've had, probably less than 10 of them that have been able to do. And now I've had kids that can do it, but to really do it, I think it's difficult. It's hard for adults to do it that are 50 years old, but it's like, there's just so many factors at that age from, 13 to 18 or 19,
And they have a history growing up with all their buddies. I mean, they've known them since they've been 5 years old. But I will say, I think the easiest way to the commitment, highly committed kids, that basketball team means more to them. When you're highly committed and you're bought in, it's easier to hold teammates accountable because you've put so much time into it that you get this, I don't want to lose this. I've dedicated and committed myself. So to me, I think commitment is incredibly important in all this, because committed kids, they don't want to lose. You know what I mean? They've put in all this time, and I think it's easier for them to maybe take that step and hold teammates accountable when they need to.
I agree. When you find one of those, hold on to them tight. I'm telling you.
I got one right now, I think, but
it's lightning in a bottle, baby. I think I have a couple too. I'm pretty excited about it. All right. Anything else with those 3 steps, Coach?
No, I mean, we can obviously go way deeper on this. I have a whole rubric on this that coaches can use in my OS to help self-evaluate and kids self-reflect and grow and all that. But in a real simplistic 10-minute version, there's 3 steps to leadership.
It's good. All right. Till next week.
Hey, Coach, I hope you're enjoying the video. If you are, hit like down below. That helps us be found everywhere. Also, subscribe and then hit the little bell up above, and that will help you get notified every day when we put a new basketball coaching video up every day of the year. It'll help you a ton. And then go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better.